Okay, so now we're going to start moving into what are the sort of marketing activities we can do. And some of them are really going to, we're only really looking at a few key areas here, okay? So the most widely used activities we'll have is basically personal selling. Okay, good old-fashioned promotion we know, which involves a person selling their products and services for our company. We'll have the good old-fashioned sales promotion. Come in, talk to one of our people, and we'll make sure they know what it is. Now, I used to use that in banking all the time. So I'd have my staff, I'd talk to them about the product that we want to sell that week, and that really becomes the big promotion that we're going to have. So what we do is we get them to talk to every customer that comes in and at least mention the product or service to try and gauge some interest and try and begin to sell it, okay? So that's the real word of mouth type stuff that you can use, okay? And that's what you'll do a lot of the time. Advertising is the other really common area. Okay, so just your standard ad, you can run an ad in the local newspaper, put it online, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, so that's when we're starting to get into there, buying advertising space, running the commercial, internet advertising, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so that's another key activity you might do. There can be a sales promotion. Okay, where you're going out and thinking about, 2-for-1 deal or whatever it happens to be. Okay, discounted 50% off, all that sort of good gear that we put out there. We might run a promotion, and whether that's in-store or through an advertising medium, whichever way you want to go there, but that's another thing we can do. We can also start to look at generating publicity. Okay, so publicity can be another thing we do, and that can be through sponsoring particular activities, a local community, like I'm sponsoring the football team or something. Okay, so we can do that, or we can even use public relations companies. Okay, to get ourselves out there, known as an expert in a particular field, to have that broader conversation. Okay, so we can start to think about, those activities, and each one of those, we need to think about, well, what's going to be the most appropriate, especially when we consider how much budget we have to throw at this, and also how much time we have. Okay, if we need something done tomorrow, it's obviously going to have to be something like personal selling, which we can instruct someone to do straight away. It might be a bit of a sales promotion where we can put a 50% off voucher out the front. On the other hand, if we've got quite a bit of time, we've got 6 months to a year, we might be going for the publicity option where we're sponsoring a local football team, or that sort of longer term viewpoint that we can take. We can think about how we want to schedule our media plan and conduct our advertising. All right, so obviously we need to be thinking about the time we've got, we need to think about the budget we've got, and then start thinking about the activities that we might get into. All right. So that'll get us at least onto that, that basic consideration. Which one's it going to be? As I say, they're just the most common. There can be other stuff out there as well. But really these are the quicker ones. Things like this, publicity and public relations, they can take some time to really get your message out there and promulgated. Right, so that's just a quick thought on some of the activities, making sure you're ready to go and making sure you're telling people what you're going to do. Because the next thing we're going to start talking about is thinking about, well, who does it need to get targeted at and what are our considerations around the targeting? All right, cool. All right, so we've now talked about the activities. What we need to confirm when we're getting into the different activity we're going to be is to make sure that we understand the audience. Okay, our final check of the audience. Now, you would have probably done this if you've done the marketing mix well. You should have this information already. So just the last things we want to confirm with regard to our audience is to understand their age. Okay, so how old are they? We're aiming at children, old people, working people. Who is it we're going after? Students, where does that fit in? Gender. Okay, so we're talking about male or female. So we're going for, children the age of this and this. Boys who like to do what? Location or residence. So where are they? Okay, we're going for a particular, geographic, so a certain area. Once again, how they're going to get the information. So their media usage pattern. So when do they look at social media? When do they look at TV? Do they look at social media? Do they look at TV? Okay, what are they doing? We need to just make sure that we understand their attitudes. Okay, so what are their beliefs, behaviours, attitudes, etc.? Okay, beliefs. That's a good one to put in there, just to make sure. So what are their attitudes? How do they see certain things? What's your attitude towards you and your product and the conversation that you want to have with them? What are the belief systems that they hold dear and what's important to them? Okay, we start to then think about, could be cultural heritage. Okay, different cultures are going to have certain beliefs that they hold true. That's not to say that everybody does, but remember, we're going for a majority here. We're trying to, go for the biggest target. Not, there's always going to be some exceptions. That's business reality, but we're just going for the biggest area there. I need to think about language needs. Okay, so when I'm talking about that, if we're going into a demographic that has a high population of people from a foreign country, I might start thinking about having my messages presented in a bilingual fashion. Okay, so I'm thinking about, what are the language requirements? Are they going to understand the message? Do I need to diversify that a little bit? I need to think about, are they any, is there any trends that I can see they follow? Okay, now, are they part of a subculture where it's really clear I can see what trends they've got? What are they into? How does it need to be presented? What's popular with that group? Okay, so if you think about it, what's popular with the kids? It really is that straightforward thing. Likes and interests they may have. Okay, so what do they generally get into? What do they like? So once again, when we start to associate there, and that's what we're talking about with the subcultures. Okay, so if I think about Australia, I might say, yep, they're Australian, etc. They live in the eastern suburbs, but these ones are all surfers. So they like to ride their surfboards. They're into surf culture. They do those sort of things, and that might be an entirely different set of people to people living in Bondi who are young professionals who want to go to an office all day and work all day. So we can talk about the subculture or the group of people those people fit into. Okay, so we need to make sure we've got a really, really clear understanding of who that audience is. Pull out all those details because we need to make sure that everything that we were planning is going to target them. As I say, if it's kids and we want to sell something to kids, it's a new toy, there's no point me having a great ad on because they watch TV. There's no point me putting the ad on TV at midnight. Okay, they're never going to see it. That's going to be a waste of my time and money. We're going to have the right message to the right person at the wrong time. And remember, part of it was also for the right budget. Okay, so I need to make sure all these things fit together and that we're doing the right thing there. Okay, so that was just a refresher on the audience. And the next one is we're going to talk about what we need to evaluate and measure as we're going along in our activity.